Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? I'm back home. How am I already back in New York? Well, joint practice was canceled this morning, as you guys saw. And right when I saw that practice was canceled, my flight originally was 6 p.m. And I looked at American Airlines and I'm like, I got to get home ASAP, change it to 10 a.m., run all the way to Charlotte Airport, just made it to my flight, almost missed it, by the way, and now I'm home. So let's break down what happened in today's practice. Unfortunately, I was not there. As you guys know, I went to Spartanburg. I wanted to be there for both days. I was there yesterday, but unfortunately, I do not have media credentials, and only the media, the beat, are allowed at the closed practices, and I was not allowed there. So I'm going to give you guys the thoughts of what we took away from today's practice from the beat team, and also some interesting comments that Robert Saleh had to say about the offensive line that a lot of people are talking about. So definitely want to give you guys my thoughts of this. But overall, just want to say this really quick. Thank you to everybody that's showing all the support here on Jets Media. Without you guys, I would not have been able to go to South Carolina to cover day one of joint practice between the Jets and the Panthers. This is something, it's been my dream covering this Jets football team. Without all the support that you guys show me, none of this is possible. So thank you to each and every one of you guys. Really, really do appreciate it. So let's get straight into business. Actually, make sure you guys hit that like button. Come on now. You know the vibes. Let's get right into it. So Alijah Vera-Tucker. Is he going to be an offensive tackle this year? Now, that's a topic because I forgot who asked the question, but somebody asked Robert Saleh this morning because Saleh kept saying, we're going to play the best five. Well, the best five could mean, well, if Alijah Vera-Tucker kicks out to the offensive tackle spot because the offensive tackle spot is a little weakness, is that a possibility? And Robert Saleh did not close the door. He left that open. We saw last year AVT kicked out to right tackle. He even played some left tackle because of all the injuries we were suffering. And that's how great Alijah Vera-Tucker is. That's how versatile he is as a player. But I think we can all agree that AVT is an all-pro at that guard spot. And even Saleh was saying that he is his best self at that guard spot. Not to say he's not a really good player when he's at tackle, but I think that's more of an emergency scenario. Now, obviously, there's another big player that could be available in the trade market that some Jets fans are talking about, that being Zach Martin of the Dallas Cowboys. One of the best, if not the best, right guards in all of football, is not getting paid by the Cowboys, and he might be having a holdout. So I see some people throwing around the idea, go trade for Zach Martin, plug him in at right guard, and then slide AVT to right tackle. There you go. The offensive line's all settled. Now, it's a little harder than you think to be able to pull that off with the whole cap situation and figuring out a right trade compensation. But Joe Douglas, if he thinks that's the right move to do for this Jets offensive line, because I think the only thing that gives Jets fans a little worry about this upcoming season on this entire roster is probably the offensive line. You know, we're obviously good at quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. We like the weapons around Rodgers. The defense is stacked up. So I think the offensive line is the big thing that Jets fans are talking about. Now, Mekhi Becton continues to progress in camp, but the thing is, it's not a talent issue. It's not that he's struggling, which he's not. He's looking like a beast every time he's out there. It's just his knee. It's just his health concern that the Jets have. So definitely interesting stuff. I think Alijah Vera-Tucker will be best suited to stick at right guard, but it is something to keep in mind. If somebody's not really making their name heard at offensive tackle, maybe AVT kicks out the right tackle, maybe Connor McGovern slides the right guard, maybe Joe Tippmann goes to right guard, or another guard like Wes Schweitzer. I don't know, but the Jets really got to figure out their starting five at offensive linemen because, you know, week one is right around the corner. So offensive line, we'll see what happens there. Now, getting into what happened on the practice field this morning, good news on the injury front. Garrett Wilson was officially back today. He participated in some team drills, and it feels good to have Garrett Wilson back, man. I was there in person when he got rolled his ankle. Really scary stuff. Garrett Wilson is okay. Everybody take a deep breath. But now, you might have to hold your breath because Sauce Gardner continues not to practice, but I really don't think this is an issue. Sauce Gardner has a quad. The Jets are holding him out. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets just want to shut him down this week, give him a whole weekend to recover since we have a game on Saturday. He's obviously not going to be playing in that game, so hopefully Sauce Gardner will be back onto the practice field doing individual stuff next week. And getting on to what happened at practice today, there was no pads on, just helmets. As you guys know, obviously, we already talked about it. They were supposed to have a joint practice with the Panthers this morning, and they weren't going to do too much this morning, even if the Panthers practice wasn't canceled. They were only going to wear helmets, only going to do 7-on-7 and individual stuff. They were not going to do 11-on-11 again versus the Panthers, which I found interesting. So what happened today at practice, Aaron Rodgers had a solid day, 12 of 18 per Rich Cimini. He had a dime to Malik Taylor on the move, one of the better deep throws of Aaron Rodgers' training camp, apparently. Do not have a clip of it just yet, but I'm sure that will be surfacing on social media in just due time. Aaron Rodgers looked really good yesterday in day one, going all over the place with Carolina Panthers defense, picking it apart basically. And then in that last rep, he got a 3 and out, but I don't think that was because of Rodgers. That was more of the offensive line concern. So good news to see Aaron Rodgers having a solid day. He was on fire to start off practice, and then he kind of cooled off in the red zone period. Zach Wilson, he had a better day today, even though it's just, helmets, and you can't really evaluate a lot with Zach Wilson after, struggling yesterday against the Panthers. And then today, going up against the Jets defense, he looked a little better, had a couple touchdowns. And I think it's a really big test for Zach Wilson on Saturday against the Panthers in the preseason. And remember, Zach Wilson threw his first interception of training camp on 11-on-11 yesterday. And it was a brutal pick. I was there. I saw it in 11-on-11. He threw it right to the linebacker, and I was like, wow, Zach is off today. But don't get it twisted. Zach has been having a stellar training camp, and you're allowed to have a bad day. I mean, even the great ones have bad days. So now it's up to Zach Wilson to really learn from his mistake and really stack up some good days and get some momentum and go out there on Saturday and go up against the Panthers and hopefully light it up. Now, going back to the offensive line, Max Mitchell and Billy Turner continue to swap. They continue to go left tackle, right tackle. Yesterday, Billy Turner was at left tackle, Max Mitchell was at right tackle. Well, today, they flipped it around. So the Jets are really trying to figure out this offensive tackle spot. We all know that Dwayne Brown is on his way back, which is really exciting in the next couple of weeks. And Mekhi Becton is also looking really good. So maybe those are the two starters. But things are really trying to, this coaching staff got a lot to figure out, this offensive line, because it's definitely something that's concerning me, not going to lie. But hey, we still got a lot of time before week 1 to sort it all out. And then getting into the defense real quick, the talk of this defense, if there was one player to really highlight, it's definitely Tony Adams. Tony Adams continues to shine. He continues to make plays. He had a really good play yesterday, forcing a fumble. He had a big hit in the end zone to force a pass breakup to avoid Bryce Young to get in the end zone, and they forced him to a field goal. And then Tony Adams made a play today as well, and Robert Saleh was glowing about him. DJ Reed was glowing about him. And Saleh did mention that, Adrian Amos is still competing for that job, but Tony Adams has been the starter since camp began. He's never not been the starter. I've never seen Amos run with the starters just yet. And I think Tony Adams, it's really hard for this coaching staff to just take him out. He brings everything you want. He really embodies what it is to be a New York Jet under Robert Saleh. That's what Saleh said himself. So I think Tony Adams is one of those diamond in the rough players that Joe Douglas brought in undrafted free agency. Add that to the list of Bryce Huff and Tony Adams, two players he did not draft that are really important pieces to this defense. Bryce Huff is a rotational pass rusher that we all want more snaps of. Tony Adams, you get a starter in the undrafted free agency pool. Woo! That's some good freaking stuff. So that's going to wrap up what happened today at practice. Definitely some, things to break down in terms of the whole ABT situation. And it's a luxury to have that we have such a great player in Alijah Vera-Tucker on this offensive line that we can even bring up that he can move around and play right tackle, left tackle, right guard, left guard. He's that freaking good. We will figure out what happens in the next couple of weeks. Definitely something to keep in mind. Folks, that's going to wrap up this video. Feels good to be back home. I will be live for the game on Saturday, my live play-by-play reactions, so stay tuned for that. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoyed, and of course, comment your thoughts of training camp. Peace and love as always. Let's go, Jets. Your boys back home. Let's get it.